All right. Let's see. Oh, Jordan has a question. Can objective morality exist without religion?
That's a great question. But of course, the flip of that question is, can objective morality exist with religion? Because religious morality is completely and utterly subjective. And as an example of that is just the fact that every religion has its own morality, because every religion has a different God and a different myth, founding myth, and a different set of commandments laid down to it by God. And not only that, but every rabbi interprets whatever the commandments happen to be in a different way, depending on, I don't know, depending on his mood or depending on what revelation he's read recently. Every sect of the Protestant religion interprets these things a little differently. So is there any sense of objectivity with religion? Of course, even God changes the rules, right? You get a commandment that says, thou shalt not kill. And that's morality, right? But then when God tells Abraham, kill your eldest son, then the moral thing for Abraham to do is to do what God tells him, which is to violate the commandment. It's a complete mess. It's a complete disaster. Religious morality is completely subjective to what you think based on emotions, because you can't talk to God and you can't reason with God. So it's only whatever you emote that God has told you. What God you think God thinks is the right thing to do. So it's completely subjective and it's completely up to you. What does it mean to have an objective morality? What it means to have objective morality is a morality that can be validated by the facts of reality. And in that sense, only objectivism provides you with the tools to validate your morality in reality, because objectivism starts with reality and derives its moral code from reality. And objectivism asks a very fundamental question. It's, why do we need reality? Why do we need morality? Well, we need morality to choose between right or wrong, to choose our values, to establish a system of values by which we will live, by which we will make important decisions. But values for what? And for whom? Right? What's the purpose of having values? And objectivism holds that this boils down to the fundamental question of, what is the value that makes all other values possible, right? And what is the fundamental choice and alternative that human beings have, that indeed nature provides us? And the fundamental choice that exists out there is the choice between life or death, existence or non-existence. And then morality, once you choose to live, the purpose of morality is to tell you how to live. It's to tell you what will lead to a successful life, what will lead to achieving survival and achieving success as a human being. And that's empirically testable. If I do X, does it lead to greater happiness? Does it lead to greater success? Does it lead to greater survival? Or does it lead to death and destruction, right? And if it leads to good things, then it's a virtue. If it leads to bad things, then it's a vice. And the standard for good things is human life, and the standard for bad things is human life. It's the destruction of human life. And that's how you derive objective morality. What are the things that lead to success in life? What are the things that lead to survival? And what are the things that destroy human life? What are the things that lead to destruction and to death? And we can test that. We can be very, very scientific and objective about that. And we might disagree about those things. But the standard for disagreement is always, okay, in reality, does that help promote human life or does that hurt human life? That's what an objective morality is, not God said X, therefore you must do it. And by the way, since God didn't speak to you, you have to interpret what he told other people and how they told the story to you.
And to begin with, I wonder if I can ask you to capsulize. I know this is difficult. Can I ask you to capsulize your philosophy? What is Randism?
First of all, I do not call it Randism, and I don't like that name. I call it objectivism.
All right.
Meaning a philosophy based on objective reality. Now let me explain it as briefly as I can. First, my philosophy is based on the concept that reality exists as an objective absolute, that man's mind, reason, is his means of perceiving it, and that man needs a rational morality. I am primarily the creator of a new code of morality which has so far been believed impossible, namely a morality not based on faith.
On faith?
Not on faith, not on arbitrary whim, not on emotion, not on arbitrary edict, mystical or social, but on reason, a morality which can be proved by means of logic, which can be demonstrated to be true and necessary.
All right, all right.
Now, may I define what my morality is?
All right.
Because this is merely an introduction. My morality is based on man's life as a standard of value. And since man's mind is his basic means of survival, I hold that if man wants to live on earth and to live as a human being, he has to hold reason as an absolute, by which I mean that he has to hold reason as his only guide to action, and that he must live by the independent judgment of his own mind, that his highest moral purpose is the achievement of his own happiness, and that he must not force other people nor accept their right to force him, that each man must live as an end in himself and follow his own rational self-interest.
May I?
All right, before we go on, reminder, please like the show. We've got 163 live listeners right now, 30 likes. That should be at least 100. I figure at least 100 of you actually like the show. Maybe there are like 60 of the Matthews out there who hate it. But at least the people who are liking it, you know, I want to see a thumbs up. There you go. Start liking it. I want to see that go to 100. All it takes is a click of a thing, whether you're looking at this. And you know, the likes matter. It's not an issue of my ego. It's an issue of the algorithm. The more you like something, the more the algorithm likes it. So, you know, and if you don't like the show, give it a thumbs down. Let's see your actual views being reflected in the likes. But if you like it, don't just sit there. Help get the show promoted. Of course, you should also share. And you can support the show at yaronbrookshow.com/support, or on Patreon or Subscribestar or Locals, and show your support for the work, for the value hopefully you're receiving from this. And of course, don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, even if you just come here to troll, or even if you're here like Matthew to defend Marx, then you should subscribe, because that way you'll know when to show up. You'll know what shows are on, when they're on. You'll get notified, right? So, yes, like, share, subscribe, support. Like, share, subscribe, support. There you go. Easy. Do one or all of those, please.